What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Today's video is thanks to you guys. I've made it clear that I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies. If it pops up on my YouTube, I'll check it out. And a lot of you have been commenting. Starting yesterday, a lot of you have been commenting and you guys want to hear my opinion on Trump wanting to reopen Alcatraz, put it to work, put it to use. So today I looked up a couple stories on it. I read Trump's own words. And those of you that know, I was incarcerated the majority of my life. I was incarcerated not because cops were dirty, not because of systemic racism, not because of the color of my skin. I was in prison, I was in jails because of the decisions that I was making. And so I wanted to start this video with that, okay? I'm not someone who is into coddling criminals. I am someone who believes that people should be held accountable, but that accountability shouldn't just be punishment. Incarceration should not just be punishment. There should be punishment for those who keep doing crimes, committing crimes behind the walls. Then, of course, prison is its own world, its own society, and there has to be rules, right? But I don't believe that people are, because they've made poor decisions for 10, 15, 20 years, that they can't change. Okay, so as we know, Trump was left, he inherited 15 million illegal immigrants from the prior administration, an estimated 15 million. And he has said that he's going to do the best he can to get illegals out of this country. And a lot of people are up in arms. More than anyone, it's the raza, it's the Mexicans, the Hispanics, whatever you want to call them. And they're very emotional. But there are Asians being deported, Haitians, Africans. For some reason, their communities aren't up in arms the way the Hispanic community is. And I want to use California as an example. I saw something the other day, and it was about the governance of California and the debt of California, okay? California is, I believe, the 5th biggest economy in the entire world. Across the whole entire globe, this state has, I believe it's the 5th largest economy in the damn world. And it operates in a deficit. It operates with a ton of debt. One huge factor in this debt is $10 billion to provide health care to illegals. And I want you guys to think about that for a second. $10 billion to give health care to illegals, and we have military veterans who struggle to get treated. It's been talked about for years. Does that seem right? We have millions of American citizens who, you know, maybe they get laid off or whatever the thing is, and they just can't afford health care. Yet we are providing health care to illegals at a cost of $10 billion annually. Nobody cares? I kind of do, right? And so Donald Trump has said when he got into office that he wanted to deport illegals. The focus was on criminals, right? So you have criminals that have broken the law, been arrested and incarcerated, and Trump is basically saying, why are we spending money housing illegals when we can just deport them back to their countries? Now, there's a twofold thing there. If they get deported back to their home countries, a lot of those countries are going to cut them loose. They're not going to keep them. Now, you have this deal with El Salvador where he's like, bring them. I got a place for them. And it costs us millions and millions of dollars to house people who are not from this country, came in illegally, and victimized citizens. That's strange, isn't it? I don't see how people don't see that as strange. So that was Trump's intention. He made it clear his intention was to focus on criminals, deport them. And something happened along the way where we have activist judges who are saying no. No. Regardless of the fact that these are not American citizens, we are going to afford them the same rights as citizens. So everything has to be litigated. Do you realize it's not free? Litigation is not free, and it isn't cheap. So if we have an illegal person here, regardless of what country it is, I want people to stop acting like it's only Mexicans, because it's not, okay? So if we have an illegal person here and we want to send them back to their home country and let them decide, should they be imprisoned or should they be released, right? And we have judges that are saying, no, there needs to be a trial on this. Okay, well, that illegal person is going to be assigned an attorney to represent them. That attorney is probably going to need some private investigators, whatever they feel they need. And we as the taxpayers pay for that. The state or the feds have to put on their case. We pay for that too. So we're paying for both sides. And at the end of the day, if the courts decide this person is not going to be deported, this person is going to finish their sentence here in the United States of America, guess what? When their sentence is over, they're deported. I don't know if people don't get that part. If you are an illegal and when your sentence is over, INS picks you up. You go to an INS detention center and then they send you somewhere outside of the United States. So why are we going to pay millions of dollars to house them just to deport them at the end of their sentence? Or why would we want to pay millions of dollars, whatever it is, in legal defense when they're still going to get deported? I don't understand how these things don't make sense. So back to the video. So Donald Trump is saying, okay, these judges want us to spend millions to have trials for people that we are still going to send back regardless. Well, how about this? How about we remodel, rebuild Alcatraz, spend those millions that we would have spent on those trials. You know what? We don't need those trials. We're going to spend those millions to rebuild this prison. Alcatraz, what was Alcatraz built for? Alcatraz was built to house the worst of the worst in the federal system. But completely isolate them, right? So Donald Trump has said, okay, let's do that. People have to remember, for every action, there's a reaction. And I always say, when it comes to crimes, criminality, being how to deal with criminals, it's usually a knee-jerk reaction that is not good for anybody. Do I want to see people incarcerated, lock them up, throw away the key? Never. If they're a sex offender or something like that, that's a mental illness. Those guys should not. They should go to some kind of psychiatric place and deal with it over there. Okay. But when people are incarcerated, I truly believe that there should be incentives to get people to go to college, to go to self-help, like we have in California, right? And we have a track record now in California that those that engage in those programs, the recidivism rate is very small compared to those that don't. I know for lifers, ex-lifers that get out, the recidivism rate is less than 1%. For those with determinate terms, it's closer to 70%. But even them, there are a lot of people who are saying, you know what, man, instead of hanging out on the yard, I'm gonna get these college courses. You know what? I'm gonna go to this self-help. I'm gonna go to AVP. I'm gonna go to CGA. I'm gonna go to AA. I'm gonna go to NA. Whatever it is. And the longer they sit there, the more probable it is that something will click. You hear a story that you can identify with, and it catches your attention, and so you listen. And this dude over here, who's saying the same things that I'm feeling or I've been through, and this guy's, for even in behind the walls, guy's got his shit together. It may motivate you to seek him out. Hey, homie, how'd you do this? So I believe in rehabilitation. But we're not going to sugarcoat anything. Having judges want to provide due process to people who are here illegally, they forfeited that due process when they decided to cut in line and just come over illegally. And I can't stress enough to you that they're still going to be deported. At the end of their sentence, they don't get released back into the community. I think people need to have that hit over their head like a hammer repeatedly. They are still going to be deported. The difference is we have to pay, for an example, in California, it costs about $100,000 annually to house one inmate. If they take psych medication, that jumps up to like $140,000 annually for one inmate. And we have our California system as well as Texas, individually, not combined. We have we have a bigger prison population than the entire federal population. We are providing healthcare inside and out, education inside and out to illegal citizens. Meanwhile, a lot of people who are born here are struggling. I don't want to keep going in circles. I said my piece. If Donald Trump opens up Alcatraz, he rebuilds it and opens it up, it's to house the worst of the worst. And it's because we have politicians and judges who believe that a person that we are going to deport should have to do his whole time here and then get deported. That's basically the argument. Those of you that don't know, that's the argument. No, you're not going to send him now. You're going to let him stay for 15 years and we're going to house him at whatever the cost is per inmate for those years. And then he goes back to his country. We send them back. If you care so much about them, a lot of these guys, if you send them back to their home country is not going to detain them. They're going to release them. But no, your argument for whatever reason is let's detain them and pay for it. So you really don't care about the individual. You just care about fighting the president. It's pretty strange to me. I hope that if they rebuild Alcatraz, even though it's for the supposed worst of the worst, I hope that it will still have, at least even if it's on a TV monitor, that they can see. It's a channel that you add to the TV stations. I hope there's some programming possible. Because a lot of these guys made poor decisions at a young age. And because of the time they were given, they can't get out of it. But this whole illegal thing is just, it's mind-boggling. Doesn't make sense. That's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.